Great.
All right, so good evening, everybody. And we have a lot of teachers here, actually. We're all here in Sarasota, Florida. What I'll do is I'm going to move out of the screen for a second and just kind of let you introduce yourselves here. So I'm Carlos Hernandez again.
Lauren Watson.
Eric Bailey.
Julia Calderon. Derek Ular.
Miles DeGotti.
And this is the science department here at Sarasota School of Arts and Sciences. So tonight we're just going to go through and kind of let you know what we've been up to so far. So without further ado, here we go. All right, just to give you a reminder of where we are located in Florida, we're just south of the Tampa Bay area, about 45 minutes south of that in the Gulf of Mexico. The picture you see in the top right-hand corner is of our downtown area, which is we're relatively close to it. They see your baby bump. Oh. So, the picture you see in the backgrounds are our beautiful Ringling Bridge, and then on the bottom right-hand side is actually our brand new building. We've been in here less than a year, and there was a lot of construction going on. In fact, on the next slide here, I can kind of show you. Well, this is where we're at located, so you can see the beautiful Sarasota Bay there as well. On the left-hand side, you can see downtown Sarasota, and then we're just outside of the downtown area. It's really nice here. The only problem is that we don't have a lot of greenery. We do have some trees. In our campus, there's a lot of dirt and a lot of sand because of all the construction. But I'll show you here on the next one so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so we have two aerial pictures of our campus being built. The one on the left-hand side shows the school building we're in right now, and then above it is the framework for the gym. And then on the other side is just kind of inverted, so you can see the framework for the gym on the bottom and then the building on the top. What the arrow is pointing to is where we had our weather station last year. We're trying to figure out where to put it, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But I know that Sarah was mentioning something she wanted to say about the
weather station?
Yeah, the weather station and the wind and everything.
Yeah, like what we don't want is the location. Well, we need a location where all of the kids can access on their own without much supervision, which limits us to like our parking lot and the surrounding areas. But we don't want like a wind tunnel effect from being in between the two buildings, which is like the location where we had last year. So we're waiting. We have to give our principal a list of a couple of different options, and we're waiting on approval for that.
Okay.
Yes, we're part of the mosquito group.
Yeah, we're the mosquito people. One of the things that I wanted you to notice too is that, again, if you look at the surrounding area of the pictures there, you can see that there's a little bit of grass, but mostly what we have around here is a lot of sand. Okay. All right, so we'll move on to the next one here. This is one of the activities we have done so far, where we have Bellwork when the students come into the classroom, and what we did is we projected this on the screen. And we have some pictures of mosquitoes, and we asked students to write down as many questions as they could, kind of reacting to the pictures of the mosquitoes here. Very similar to what we learned at the Globe class that we went to over the summer. Yeah, the L2R2, yeah, that's right. One of the things that we found that was interesting is that when doing research, it's only pregnant female mosquitoes that actually bite humans, which I thought was interesting. I thought it was all kind of mosquitoes. But anyway, the kids came up with some really good questions. And then this is what else we've been up to. So far, students have brainstormed potential research questions related to mosquitoes and climate. We've made contact with our Florida Assistant State Climatologist. Her name is Melissa Griffin. We also had Lori Tarleton from the Sarasota County Mosquito Management Service. She came and spoke to our students about mosquitoes. And what happened is the students actually viewed pictures, well, some diagrams, but then they also had mosquitoes under the microscopes as well, and some of the different species that we have here in Sarasota. Students have read articles on climate change and mosquitoes to kind of practice doing a little bit of research and citing sources. We're also in the middle of working on our science fair projects at school, so this actually ties it in perfectly to the scientific method and everything we've been doing so far. We have been in contact with our partner school in Connecticut and plan to make compare some of the different climate and land cover information between our two schools, and we'll be doing that in the future. All right, so here's some of the slides here from Lori when she came in from the mosquito management. there's actually scientists that are working on kind of developing a model to predict when the mosquito disease, the risk of mosquito disease will actually be around. So they're using a combination of rainfall data, the water table, and actually bird populations as well. So you can see on the picture there's some high-risk areas. Luckily for us here in Sarasota, we're not in the high-risk areas. Well, not yet anyway. And it kind of depends on whether there is a lot of rain. We can have a lot of mosquitoes, but also if it's dry, we can actually have a lot of diseases being spread as well. And the reason for that is that birds, we have found out, that can be carriers of a lot of the diseases. So when we have a lot of rain and we have a lot of opportunity for mosquitoes to breed, then of course the mosquitoes will transfer the disease. But when it's dry, a lot of the birds will actually come together, and there's actually a higher risk of them transmitting from bird to bird. All right, so here's some of the pictures, and actually you can see Lori doing her presentation with that very slide here for our students. And then on the top right and bottom right, you see some of our students actually looking at the different mosquitoes through the microscopes in the classroom. On this one too, on the left-hand side, these were like samples of mosquitoes and stuff, right?
Yes, they're the ones they're looking at in the case. There are still in the larval stage. They're prepared specimens, and the ones under the stereoscopes, there are adult mosquitoes.
Okay. And then we also have, I know you wanted to talk about this one here real quick.
Oh yeah, this one, I guess the mosquitoes find their prey by detecting CO2 emissions. So there are mosquitoes in various stages in this container that the student's holding. And they were very calm. These two containers were over in the corner. And when the kids had a chance to go over and examine them, pick them up and have a look at them, the mosquitoes began to detect their breath, the student's breath, and the mosquitoes just went wild inside that container. You could hear them buzzing, really trying to get out. Really cool thing to see. And you can see on the student's face there her kind of amazement at how much they're moving around.
Oh, Carlos, that's
Oh, yeah.
also that's like the same kind of container that we're ordering when we're going to be starting to collect our own mosquito larva data as well.
And the students are able to identify or see the difference between the types of mosquitoes by their little siphon. So they actually could see, you know, which species we're looking at specifically by looking at those samples.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what else we got. All right, so of course we talked to our students and the fact that mosquitoes need stagnant water to develop. This was kind of interesting, that second bullet you see on there, that it only takes 1 tablespoon of water to produce 100 or more mosquitoes. So then one of the things that we looked at is our floor tiles here on the school campus. You know, they're a foot by a foot. And the kids were trying to calculate how many mosquitoes can hatch out of that amount of water. So that was kind of gross, but kind of interesting too. Of course, you know, temperature and food will determine how quickly the mosquitoes are going to develop. And, you know, only certain species of mosquitoes are the ones who actually transmit diseases too. So they're starting to look at the differences between those as well. All right, so here's some other pictures in the classroom where then we're doing the Bellwork assignment, again, trying to come up with different questions. And then on the right-hand side, on the top and bottom, we started walking around our campus to kind of get ideas for our land cover and the green up and green down that we're going to be doing. And then here is the field that is the greenest around us right now, because again, there's a lot of sand. So the following is going to be a couple different pictures that the students have taken just to kind of get used to their surroundings. So I just wanted to show you some of the different things that we have around here. On the left-hand side, we have a palmetto tree, and then on that tree itself, there's actually 2 species hanging on it. There is a cactus hanging on there, and there's also a vine hanging on there. So this was kind of a nice way to start introducing competition between species. On the top right-hand side, you can see where the you know, nobody's really trimming these trees, so you can see the dead leaves are still there. Some of the different oaks and everything we have on the bottom. The left-hand side, we have one of our conifers here, covered in Spanish moss, which of course is neither Spanish nor moss. We have a lot of epiphytes here, which are the air plants that hang out in the trees. And the Spanish moss, actually, one of the closest relatives to them would be something like a pineapple. So over on the right-hand side, I forget the name of this tree here, Lauren. What's this one here?
What's this philodendron?
No, this one here.
Schefflera.
Schefflera.
Mhm.
And the cool thing about this one is that they're just starting to bloom, and they have these really cool red blooms on the top. So that'll be something that the kids can actually take pictures of and document. This is some of the land cover on the right-hand side. We do have a couple of flowers right now. And again, just another close-up of the conifer with some of the Spanish moss hanging from it. Some more Spanish moss. And then over on the right-hand side is this philodendron. Again, it's just kind of wrapping around. And that's actually a dead tree that is wrapping around. So again, they're trying to find as much sunlight as possible. This is a shot from the field looking at our campus. So again, it's just right down the street. It's not even a block away. So the good news is we won't have to take a bus or anything to do any kind of field trip or anything. We can just walk down there during class time to collect our data. I know Lauren wanted to talk about this one here.
That's at Moat Marine, and we take our 6th graders there. That is a mangrove estuary, and so we have a lab program study that the children do there, including, depending on the weather, if it's nice, they get in and they get nice and wet. But it's great for them to see the 2 different types of mangroves, and also then they will sample the leaves for the salt that it actually transpires and salt on one side. So that's some of our children doing a lab out at Moat Marine.
Okay. So here's what's next. We have to kind of determine sampling locations for mosquito larvae with the help from Lori, our mosquito management lady. We're going to be setting up our weather station. And again, we're just kind of waiting for approval from our administration for the location. One of the things they're going to be doing is, in the picture that we showed earlier of our parking lot, they're actually going to be putting plants and everything in there. So they're doing a little bit of landscaping. So we kind of have to wait until they finish that before we can go in and put in our weather station. So hopefully in the next month or so we can put that in there. Of course, begin collecting data. And we're going to try to Skype with our partner school. And again, just kind of compare some climate and land cover between our 2 sites. And that's it. Do we have it? Oh, wait, go ahead.
Well, a few people were saying, like, commenting on how much we have done. You should know that we are pretty much consumed by science fair already for like the first couple of months of school, and so we've used this as a way of teaching them, how to ask questions, how to ask better questions, how to research those questions, and then when we get into even like analyzing data, we want to have data from this as well, even if it's historical data. So I mean, it really hasn't impacted. I wouldn't say it's really taken up any extra time so far. And we haven't started the data part, but we've really just integrated it with what we already do.
Okay. So if you have any questions, we'll just kind of read through here and see what you got.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
We are a charter school, so we're a, what would you say?
School.